Okay, we have a call from Nigel in Clacton. I'd like to talk about illegal immigration. Okay, that could be a legitimate question. Do you promise not to get racist? How is it racist to be proud of the greatest country in the world? Okay, slow down. Now, you listen to me, you sweaty sock. All these people need to get the fuck and get back to their own. I record this on the 9th of August. England has been burning for a week. We've just witnessed the worst racist riots for a generation. Certainly in my lifetime. Innocent people have been attacked for no reason. Shops have been burnt down. Libraries have been burnt down. And food banks have been burnt down. Greg's has been looted for steak bakes. And the soap shop, Lush, the soap shop, was looted for bath bombs. I don't mean bombs, I mean bath bombs, the things you throw in a bath. And some of them have even been throwing bricks at their fellow rioters, hitting them in the balls with a brick. Well, hitting them in the head first with a brick, and then hitting them in the balls. I'll admit that was funny. But moment as we speak, it's been England and Northern Ireland. So far, it's not kicked off in Scotland or Wales, but I'm sure there's been a higher than ever racism, random attacks. We've just not been looting Greg's or setting things on fire, but we need to keep an eye on that because we're not at the woods yet, but things have temporarily calmed down today because thousands of people took to the streets. Anti-racist protesters just outnumbered them and made them look a bit foolish for a night. But I don't think this is the end of it. So how did we get here? Well, there was some intelligence, I use inverted commas, intelligence that an illegal immigrant who was also Muslim stabbed and killed children in Southport. And that's how the riot started. It turned out to be misinformation. The information came from a random woman on Twitter. So if people were genuinely upset about this specific thing, you would think that when they found out that it wasn't an illegal immigrant and it wasn't a Muslim, then that would calm it down. It didn't calm it down because it was just racist people wanting to riot. It probably wouldn't have been as big a deal that a random woman on Twitter said it if it wasn't for Nigel Farage saying, "Oh, I'm just asking questions, and he shared the tweet. And he's meant to be an MP. And then you also had Tommy Robinson, who had a march in London a couple of days earlier and hyped everyone up. So everyone was hyped up and everyone was quite organised because this only happened a couple of days earlier. So, you know, in their Telegram channels, WhatsApps, or everyone was quite organised and hyped up. So it was a perfect storm for something like this to happen. And speaking of Tommy Robinson, real name, Stephen Yaxley Lennon. Where's he in the middle of this? Well, he got on a small boat, a very small boat, to Cyprus to flee the law. And in his words, he's getting persecuted by the government. But even if that was the case, does that not make him an asylum seeker? The same Tommy Robinson who got caught sneaking into the USA with a false passport. The same Tommy Robinson who got deported from Canada recently. The same guy who's got a massive criminal record, including a lot of fraud, and he constantly gets more and more money, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds from his fans for his never-ending legal fees. But yeah, he got on a small boat, a very small boat to Cyprus, and then when they found out he was in Cyprus, he got on another really small boat to Athens. Now, it's worth also doing a little bit. I want to keep this video short. I just wanted to say something because as a white guy with a small platform, I just wanted to show how disgusted I am over what I've witnessed over the last week or so. So I just thought I would want to say something. I don't want to make a long video here. I just want to just recap how I feel about the last week and what's happened. But if you want to look more into Stephen Yaxley and Tommy Robinson, then see who funds him. Not only does his fans fund his lifestyle, but he also gets funded by Zionists who have a lot to gain by chaos in the streets of the UK. Nobody's talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict. And also, it increases anti-Arab sentiment, which is also a benefit for the Israeli state as well. So we just talked about Tommy Robinson there, so now let's go back to Nigel Farage. So if you just... Tommy Robinson's kind of designed for the working class to like him, the kind of guy who speaks his mind, you can have a pint with him. But obviously he doesn't appeal to the sort of posher racist, and that would be Nigel Farage. Just imagine Tommy Robinson, 20 years older, in a suit, and he drinks pints of ale, so he must be trustworthy, because he drinks pints of ale. This is the guy who's thought Brexit would be a good idea, and I think everyone agrees that Brexit was not a good idea, but for the proper Brexiteer, they'll say it wasn't implemented properly. I mean, he realised the British passport wasn't what it used to be, so he got himself a foreign passport so that he could move around different countries as much as he could. Now this guy acts like he's your pal that you'd meet in the pub. When he goes to public gatherings, they sweep it like he's a president or something. He doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't like you people. He doesn't like the man in the street. He's just filmed, sometimes with a cigarette, sometimes with a pint, to make him look like the real deal. This guy is friends with billionaire bankers, and the only people who benefited off Brexit was him and his pals. But he's designed to be more for the Daily Telegraph reader, the Daily Mail reader. Yeah, I'm not racist, just asking questions about immigration. And it's just immigration. That's the thing that annoys me about this is that, that when you get callers phone and you call that radio and they want to talk about immigration, to me it feels like it's the only thing that we've spoke about for the last 20 years, going back to Ed Miliband. I remember Nigel Farage was on Newsnight saying we need to talk about immigration. And it's pretty much the single topic that we talk most about in the media. They used to blame it on the dole scum, the unemployed. They used to take shots in the same way that they say, let's worry about Russia, let's worry about China. There's always a bogeyman. And they used to switch between the unemployed and immigration. But because the economy's been so tough that either most people have been unemployed or skint. Or someone who's been unemployed and skint. So that didn't really work anymore. So they continued to ramp up the rhetoric against immigrants. And they'll set all these Chinese whispers and rumours perpetuated by the media and these so-called influencers about how illegal immigrants are coming in a small boat, and immediately they're greeted with $4,000 cash, free hotels, an electric bike, a free car, $10,000 a month. Meanwhile, our veterans are sleeping on the street. And see, to be honest, a lot of the veterans sleeping on the street are drug addicts, and these people don't care about them either. Since the only time anyone ever cares about the homeless is when they're talking about illegal immigrants and how they don't like them. Look at how much of the pie. Why are we worried about people in small boats when there's people in yachts that own the newspapers? And every single newspaper headline for the last 20 years, especially the last 14 years during austerity, has always been, that illegal immigrant's going to steal your job. That illegal immigrant's going to commit crimes. How many crimes do white people commit? What about the billionaires? We never talk about class. We never talk about the greed of billionaires. These guys that don't pay tax and make billions and billions of pounds. The guys who control the media. And, Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage try to style themselves as... It's the same as the Donald Trump thing. It's like they're acting like they're anti-mainstream when they are the mainstream. You couldn't get more mainstream than being racist and not talking about the higher ups. It is the most mainstream thing to do, is talk about immigration and blame poor immigrants. And most of these people are also pro-war. They want to go into the Middle East, blow people up, and take their natural resources and make money with their shares in weapon manufacturers. And once you blow up a country, of course people are wanting to escape the country because they're in danger, because they can't live there anymore. So at least be consistent. If you're anti-immigration, you better be anti-war. Otherwise, your whole argument breaks down very, very quickly. So here's Nigel Farage anyway. Nigel Farage, he's supposed to be, after eight times of trying to be an MP, he's now the MP of Clacton. Or is it Florida? Or is it Beijing? Where's he been in the last month? He went to a Trump rally. He went to China. What is he up to? Why is he not working for the people of Clacton? It's because he doesn't give a shit. It was just his easiest way to become an MP after 8 times of failing. Who else gets 8 attempts at becoming an MP? Why was he on the BBC, STV, Channel 4, Sky News non-stop for the last 20 years when he wasn't an MP? Who is he? He was a European MP for a while, and he just made an absolute joke of that. He just took his money and didn't do anything because he didn't believe in the EU. Why did this guy get so much power? Because he was allowed to come on and talk about immigration. And it's all we've talked about. It's all they ever talk about. We don't ever talk about, should we tax the rich? When does that come up? Should we let's get the energy companies that are raising the price by about 500% and then posting record profits. We never talk about this every day. If we talked about that every day, you'd have people, the racist people, everybody would unite and get on the streets and demand the end of this. Let's do something about the cost of living crisis. Let's tax the billionaires. Let's stop profiteering on essential commodities that we need. Let's look at the public transport, the rip-off that is public transport. Let's look at that. When you look at the statistics, it's just a small piece of the pie. It's just a very small piece of the pie, what immigration takes in. And the amount of good that immigration does for the economy is another conversation completely. But the real conversation, the real reason that people are upset and angry and poor is because the cost of living is through the roof. All the bills, the rent, the gas, the lecky, everything is through the roof. And nobody's had a decent wage rise in about 25 years. I'll maybe put a chart on the screen so you can understand how squeezed everybody is. And it used to just be the working class that were squeezed. Now this is middle class people with successful, well-paying jobs that are struggling now as well. Not as struggling as much as the working class. But this is not, it used to be the middle class would do all right in capitalism. But this isn't capitalism anymore. This is communism for the rich and capitalism for the rest of us. I mean, you asked Nigel Farage, why did you retweet that? Why did you retweet that? And he says, I was just asking questions. And that's like the Russell Brand thing. I'm just asking questions when you don't actually want to admit what you're doing. You just say, I'm just asking questions. These are people with massive followers. They should know better. And what did Nigel Farage do? He stuck Andrew Tate under the bus because he says Andrew Tate shared it. And Andrew Tate's got millions of followers, so he thought it was worthwhile doing that. And who's Andrew Tate? He's like a former UFC fighter who now blames the Matrix for his alleged trafficking allegations that he's up at court for. So he would, if anyone knows about grooming gangs, and it's probably Andrew Tate, who's admitted on camera that he's made his millions from pimping webcam girls. But, people like people like Andrew Tate, people like Russell Brand, what they like to do is blame the Matrix for being accused of improper behaviour. Let's not get sued. Let's not get the video taken down. But they blame the Matrix, which is a film. The Matrix is a film. I've not seen the film. I've never seen The Matrix. But if you feel like you're about to get cancelled because you've done something bad and your past is coming to get you, what you do is blame the Matrix and start talking about all the talking points that Steve Bannon, who owns Rumble, what are the talking points that Donald Trump's talking about? What are the talking points that Russell Brand, Andrew Tate, Elon Musk? There's a guy who's rich enough with the money that he spent on Twitter, he could have solved world hunger. But you think Elon Musk is your pal? You think Elon Musk gives a shit about you? And Elon Musk is the guy that has electric cars and you just don't like electric cars. He's also wanting to put Neuralink chips in your head. And most of these are against that as well. So I don't know how Elon Musk gets a pass. Andrew Tate gets his money by charging incels £40 a month to become millionaires. And what does he teach them? He's basically got a Discord group, a chat room, and some videos about how to drop ship for Amazon. Jeff Bezos, another billionaire. That's his thing. Just, you've got to pay £40 a month so he can teach you how to drop ship. And the most you're going to make out of that is a couple £100 a month. And you're still working within the system. You're not escaping the Matrix. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, all these billionaire men who don't have your interests at heart, they are billionaires who start these right-wing talking points and use useful idiots, stroke millionaires such as Nigel Farage, Tommy Robinson, Russell Brand, basically anybody who will parrot these right-wing talking points to divide the working class people of this country. And a lot of you people thought Boris Johnson was alright. Boris Johnson was different. These people are not different. They're different to us. They're different to anybody with a normal life as you meet them. Love will win over hate. Hopefully it won't take too long, but love will win over hate. Be on the right side of history. All these guys are plonkers. All these people with a platform are dafties. In fact, Nigel Farage, he's a pillock. I've never used that word before, but Nigel Farage is a pillock. These guys aren't trustworthy. Stop listening to them, man. Anyway, we'll maybe do a deeper dive into some of these guys another time, but this is You Call That Radio. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And yeah, absolutely gutted about the last week, but it's great to see so many people outnumbering the fascism that's kicking off here. And long may it continue. This is the news.